Saloni, hello, good evening. Welcome, Saloni, to the interview session.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, so Saloni, you have come this far with a lot of hard work. And do you think you required more hard work or a bit more of efforts because you are a lady, you are a woman, okay, you are the gender who otherwise does not get as many opportunities. Do you think that way, Saloni?
Sir, I consider myself privileged that I had all the opportunities that are required to do hard work, and I was given a platform where I can study. I was I was given an opportunity to study in a good college and prepare for civil services exam. Sir, I think this exam demands equal hard work by everyone, be it a girl or a boy. And but sir, as far as women of our society are concerned, some may lack, and sir, including women and men, both lack certain privileges who cannot do such hard work to reach civil services preparation, sir.
So did you need a bit more of hard work than otherwise what your male counterparts would have required?
Sir, as I reflect on the journey, I don't think that I required something extra as a girl. Sir, the efforts maybe because of my certain other issue, but it was not because of my gender, sir.
And that's because your family is pretty accommodative of your ambitions, your aspirations, and supportive of your dreams. Is it that way?
Yes, sir. That is one factor, sir, because my family, even my teachers, they all were supportive of my goals. They even helped in all my endeavors. Sir, I think I had the opportunity to just to give best and do hard work in the preparation.
In many families and in many occasions, we have found that the people of the older generation, sometimes grandparents, grandmother, they are more supportive of efforts and dreams rather than the immediate generation. The father and mother may not be as encouraging, okay, but the grandparents are more encouraging. Have you noticed some of this, or have you heard about this kind of differences in social behaviors?
Yes, sir. I have heard about such instance in my village itself. Sir, where one of the boy who wanted to become a chartered accountant was more supported by his grandparents, but not very much supported by the parents. Though they agreed in the later stages, but sir, it was initially that the grandparents were more supportive.
So why do you think this difference? Okay, because we believe that young are more encouraging, the old are more traditional and more conservative. Why do you think this the kind of difference arises?
Sir, I think one reason could be because the grandparents, as they grow older, so they experience more as compared to our parents. So they are wiser than the parents and know the nuances of everything in the life. They've seen more instances in their life. So maybe that is one reason why they're more supportive and encouraging, and they want to allow the youngsters to take risks and to do anything that they want in their life because they've known better. They've known life much better.
So if I ask you, what are the reasons for why society develops biases, why society develops prejudice? Do you think the reason lies more in education? Does the reason lie more in the cultures that we grow in? Or is this a psychological thing? Okay, it's a mentality, it's a mind thing, that's all. We can have more education and yet you are aggressive. We can have a culture which is very conservative, yet you are progressive. It's a mind thing. What do you think? Is it education and experience? Is it culture or is it a mind thing, psychological?
Sir, I believe it's a combination of all the factors. Sir, culture, education, as well as the mindset of the people influences social behavior and influences the choices and the mindset people have. Sir, education acts as a means of making people aware, and of sensitizing people. And so is the culture, the cultural practices, traditions. They all influences human psychology, and so the behavior of an individual is because of all the factors.
You are a science student, right, Saloni?
Yes, sir.
Lot of problems like depression, anxiety. Are you aware that there are medical treatments for all of this?
Yes, sir.
So some of these problems, some of the psychological problems or mental illness have medical roots, have biological roots. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So do you think biases and prejudices may also have some biological roots, may have some hormonal causation? Is it possible?
Sir, I have limited understanding on the biological aspect of it,
I'm asking
but
you
sir,
to tell me the possibility. Is it a possibility that these also have biological and hormonal roots?
no, sir, I don't think that there are biological. It is a more of a mind game. It's more cognitive in nature. So the hormones and the biological factors will not lead to the biases.
What I'm asking you this is it possible to have medical treatments to solve the problems of biases and prejudice? Can we have drugs which can solve this kind of perceptions? Is it possible? Because anxiety, depression, hallucination, schizophrenia, these issues are medical basis.
Yes, sir. Sir, in future, if we consider how the technology is evolving and the research is going, so I think there could be something in future um, that some biological drug or something which solves the problem of also solves the biases and changes people's mind. So that could be a possibility.
Okay, so you are willing to consider it's a possibility.
Yes, sir.
So biotechnologies, I think new frontiers could be dealing with these kind of social problems maybe.
Yes, sir. Maybe it is possible.
Why did you not consider biological sciences? Why did you consider engineering, electrical electronics? Any reason there? Why did you rule out medicine and biological sciences? Because even your class 12 does not have biology, botany, zoology.
Sir, in the initial times, I was interested in topics like electricity, more interested in the machines like the. So, sir, in 11th and 12th standard, I opted for non-medical for that reason. And sir, also medical, I did not consider it as a choice because I thought I was not very interested in biology like zoology and botany. So that did not interest me very much, and I was more interested in upwards. So that's why I think
Why
electricity.
is that? Why is that? Doesn't the beauty of human anatomy excite you? The beauty of human physiology excite you? Okay. Why is it only non-living things, matter, electricity?
No, sir, human anatomy and the human aspects do excite me. But, sir, the problems which I faced in my village in the initial years, like the lack of regular electricity at our houses, and sir, also my grandfather was in the electricity department. So I felt I was more connected towards machines, and I developed a gradual interest from beginning in it. So that is why I opted for electrical and electronics.
So it was more of influence around you. So Saloni, if I want to sum up your personality, here is a lady who chose uh, engineering and not medical sciences, and then so science orientation. Okay, but then she is now looking for administration, gets into humanities. What has your optional subject been? It is not science, right? Okay, so what has your
No,
optional been, Saloni?
so it's geography.
Geography. You went into humanities, and now you want to be part of administration. So what does it tell me about your personality?
So I think this tells that I'm a type of person. loves different things, who loves diversity, and who wants to learn different subjects, is not restricted to just one subject. So, for example, I was willing to study different subjects. I chose an option which was different from my graduation. So, sir, from my experiences, I've been an all-rounder. I have been participating in all different sort of activities, and so that versatility and the diversity which is shaped because of that act participation, that I grew up as a person who opted for different choices.
Why is diversity so important for the masses today? I find everywhere people talking about diversity and variations of work. I have youngsters jumping across jobs because they seek diversity. इतना important क्यों है diversity life में? Why do you need so much of stimulation in diversity?
Sir, I believe diversity brings stability. So, be it India's cultural diversity that has led to stability, or be it my own personal choices, so that I was more stable when I performed in my works. So, when I studied different subjects, I did not get much bored, and my interest in learning, my curiosity kept on motivating me to learn more. So, sir, diversity as from
Your
individuals.
curiosity to learn more, that diversity manages your boredom better. Does that tell me about your stability as a person, or does it more tell me about your fickleness? Are you looking for stimulation across subjects so that you don't get bored? You said diversity brings stability. Can you elaborate on that?
Sir, I can do that with an example, sir. Sir, like, for example, geography. If we choose geography as a subject, sir, we study different parts within geography. So it's not just physical geography, but different geography. And so that geography, when we study, sir, that there's diversity. And so when we're studying, the stability comes in terms of our performance. So it comes in terms of our productivity. So we're able to be stable in the goals and stable in the performance of what we're doing. So that I think diversity is important. So though running behind diversity only is not advisable, sir, but diversity is something which attracts people, sir.
So you will go by that adage that specialization is not as important or as generalized attributes and skills. A generalist is more important than a specialist. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Sir, both generalists and specialists and the needs and their importance depend on the context, sir. Sir, somewhere, for example, a nuclear scientist who has to be a specialist. So, sir, their specialization is of utmost importance. But, sir, in some fields like administration and, sir, like sir, some like civil servants, sir, which requires a more holistic and uh, a more comprehensive work, sir. So, there we require journalists more, sir. So, sorry, both journalists and specialists are needed, sir.
Okay. Um, can you describe or explain what do you mean by diplomacy? Is foreign service one of your preferences, Saloni?
Yes, sir. It's at the third level, third point, sir. Third
Okay.
preference.
So you do value foreign service. Okay. So can you explain or can you help me understand what do you understand by diplomacy?
Sir, diplomacy is a means to influence others for our own interest. Sir, it is the way by which uh, we as Indians try to influence others for our own national interest and for our own economic and social interest. So that is a skill, sir.
So do you think diplomacy has an element of selfishness, self-centeredness? If you're talking about anything for self-interest and self-benefit, okay, the diplomacy has an element of selfishness.
Sir, I think self-interest
Do you
and
think
self.
do you think Mediators need to be diplomatic. Mediation requires diplomacy. Do you believe that?
Yes, sir. Some sort of diplomacy is required by mediation. Yes, sir.
So
So
how
that
can
is
you be diplomatic if you are selfish there or looking at your own self-interest?
so, sir, the self-interest could also be based on others' interests. For example, as a mediator, sir, the interest would be as a mediator, the role is to get the work done, and so that work is to solve the disputes between two disputing parties. So, sir, that's their self-interest is also the other benefit, sir. So, self-interest cannot be equated with selfishness, because selfishness means we are putting ourselves above everything else, and we want only our benefit, personal benefit, and having vested interest. But the self-interest is a more broader and a more positive connotation, and it tells that the self-interest um, is a higher level. So it's a more higher level of interest which is there.
Okay, okay. So say you have to release a statement about India's position vis-a-vis Iran. Okay. So how would you word it, or what is it you would like to declare to the world about your position vis-a-vis Iran? Are you aware of Iran issues? Can you list down what are the issues that concerns India vis-a-vis developments around Iran? Can you list down the issues quickly? One, two, three.
Uh, so the first issue is with the rise of militancy and the attacks by the militants, which is alleged that is alleged that they're backed by Iran. So the militant attacks is one issue. So
You're
second
talking
issue is
about who? Which militants?
so the Hezbollah militants and the Houthi rebels, which are
Okay. The one
currently
is
active in the
vis-a-vis
Red Sea.
Hezbollahs and Houthis. Okay, that's one. Number two.
Yes, sir. So one is the attacks by Pakistan, by Iran in the Pakistan occupied, in the
Okay.
Pakistan region, the Baluch region of Pakistan,
Okay.
which are said to
Which place
hold.
was that? Which place was that in Pakistan?
Sir, Baluchistan, sir, Baloch region.
Which place in Balochistan?
Sir, I'm not aware of the exact place.
Okay. Sabse ko.
Subsequent. Thank you, sir.
Sabse. Okay. Next, what other issue?
And sir, another is the attacks on the shipping vessels and the that is
That you
again
have that you have told me.
yes, sir.
Houthis and okay. What else? What other issue of Iran?
Sir, then the connectivity issue where Chahabal port of India will be under threat if some disturbances occur in the region.
Okay, fine. What else?
Sir, I can
Are you
say
aware of Iran's attack on US bases in Kurd region?
no, sir, I have not read this.
Are you aware about some terrorist attacks on Iranian soil?
Yes, sir, I'm aware.
And who was
Sir,
responsible for that attack?
sir, Iran said, according to Iran authorities, sir, the there's a group in Pakistan which is involved in those attacks. So those bombings which happened
There
in
are
those
also
attacks.
alleged attacks by ISIS.
Yes, sir. So that
Yes.
there was one attack before IS. Yes.
Are you aware of Iran's issues around women rights also?
Sir, I'm aware of the protests that happened in Iran because of
Yes.
the.
So keeping all of this in mind, what is a statement you would like to release vis-a-vis uh, India's position or India's equation with Iran? What would you want to say? I gave a list of issues:
Yes, sir.
militant attacks, okay, Iran's attack on Pakistan. Then we talked about concerns of India's investments in Chabahar port, human rights issues in Iran, plus Iran as a victim of terrorism attacks also. Okay, Iran's oil is also an important issue. जैसे मिलाकर आप क्या what would you want to project to the world about Iran and its India and Iran issues, or how India sees Iran?
Sir, as the Indian spokesperson, I would like to tell Iran to ensure highest importance and to ensure that the human rights, the basic human rights, are not violated. So for that, Iran should consider the concerns of all the sections of society. And so I would also like to advise Iran and the neighboring countries to uh, to reduce violence in the region and uh, to have diplomacy and dialogue-based approach solve the differences and the difference of opinion which they have. And sir, as India, I would also try to try to be a power or try to be a country who can mediate or who can bring different parties, conflicting parties to the table, since India has a good reputation in the international system.
What is official India's position vis-a-vis Iran's attack on Pakistan?
Sir, I'm not aware of the exact position between of India.
India is almost sympathetic about okay Iran's security concerns. Okay, so fine. So okay, so human rights you want to flag off. You want to flag off to abhor violence. You want to talk about mediation and dialogue-based resolution. Okay, fine. So that you think is so. If you look at India's foreign policy today, what do you think are the new elements of foreign policy that is more obvious today than it was earlier?
Sir, overall, India's foreign policy has become more assertive in nature as compared to the earlier times. Sir, as seen by the statements of our foreign secretary and our foreign and external affairs minister, sir, the issues of the issues of India and the concerns of India are more. There is more confident saying of India's concern globally. And sir, we've become more vocal about global south, and we have become more vocal about India's needs as a developing country, so which is seen in issues like climate change, common but differentiated responsibilities, and which is also seen in sir WTO talks, sir.
Give me an example of where India was not assertive earlier. One trade commentator says India is assertive about its interests. Give an example where India was not assertive earlier. That becomes your benchmark to compare today's foreign policy positions.
So I think that India was not assertive. Sir, I can remember of the WTO talks in which India on the agreement of agriculture, that is AOA agreement, where India was not as assertive earlier as it is today, sir.
Okay, so what is present WTO position of India? Has
Sir,
India asserted its position and won the case?
Sir, recently there was a talk, but sir, I'm not aware exactly whether it won the case or not.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. Okay, Saloni, uh, what are the prospects and possibilities of India's energy mix changing changing towards renewable energy next 20, 30, 40 years? Do you have any idea about what is energy mix of India?
Yes, sir. So
Can you give me some
currently
idea?
around sir, currently around 51% of India's energy needs out of total 425 gigawatts are met by fossil fuel sources like coal and petroleum. Sir,
Yes.
and sir, it has solar, wind, and large hydro as the major sources of renewable sources of energy. And sir, less than 1% is met by the nuclear energy. And sir, seeing this and the progress which India has made from the last 2 decades, sir, I think the prospects are very high for India to have a gradual transition towards renewable energy. and so the government schemes, the government targets,
In the
as well as
renewable
the
energy mix, which do you think has maximum prospects and India should go after that more aggressively than the other?
such seeing the geographical as well as the financial and other aspects of the energy and the associated cost. So I think solar energy is one region where India should focus at the current time. Sir, as seen the the cost of the equipments, the cost of the solar panels is coming down, sir. And also, India is a country which lies in a
What is the what is the unit cost of solar production today?
sir, it's quite high, sir, but I'm not aware of the exact cost. Sir, it's higher than the what is produced from the thermal power plants, but sir, I'm not aware of the exact number.
Okay, fine. Go on, go on. So, what are the prospects you think in diversifying out into renewable energy resources?
So, sir, India can tap the resource potential. It can tap the energy from tidal, tidal energy, the wave energy, and so the energies which is targeting under the blue economy also. And sir, also it can have a comprehensive policy where it takes a region-wise plan. India can have a region-wise plan where it can tap renewable energy specific to that region, sir. For example, from Gujarat and from the coastal regions, the prospects of wind energy are high. So from uh, the hilly areas and from the northeastern states, hydropower could be tapped. So the
Say,
prospects are good.
say you are posted as a DM in one of the rural areas of India. What will be your initiatives or what will be your approach to address the energy problems of that region?
Sir, if I'm posted at a rural area, for example, if I consider my village as one rural area, so sir, then my approach could be to have a, both collaborative way of changing energy sources. Sir, as a DM, I can bring electricity department also into support, and I can help the residents to install solar panels so that there could be some subsidy given or something could be given to the people so that they are incentivized and solar panels are installed for their daily uses, sir. So because in my village there's a good amount of sunlight that falls. So secondly, there could be an approach to save electricity also, where conservation of electricity is more encouraged by the people. And sir, for more renewable energy, sir, transportation could be one thing which could be made more sustainable and more green.
In rural area, what transportation are you talking about? What are the energy challenges in rural areas? Domestic heating, domestic maybe fuel, maybe agriculture energy needs, maybe energy needs for basic amenities like street lamps. Okay, what mobility are you talking about?
So, but in rural areas also there are two-wheelers as a transport uh, means. So to travel for short distances. So, sir, there we can switch to electric mobility if possible, or we can have some technology which is energy saving, and so that saves fossil fuels. And that is a transition from fossil fuels.
Okay, okay, fine. Um, are you aware of the environmental problems that plague our urban areas? Can you tell me what are the environmental problems of urban areas, Saloni?
Sir, environmental problems of urban regions like Delhi and other cities include pollution, which is air pollution and both water pollution. So, for example, the air quality index in Delhi is very poor and reaches above 400 levels. And so then the other problem is the shortage of water and groundwater depletion because of the overuse of groundwater. And so another environmental issue is so river, so which comes under water pollution, and Sir, also in urban areas, there's deforestation as an issue because of the increased residential and industrial land. So the forests are being cleared and forests are being encroached. So like what we've seen
Have you
in
heard
Gujarat.
about have you heard about e-waste?
Yes, sir. Yes.
What all comprises e-waste? Tell me.
So e-waste, the electronic waste comprises the uh, the damaged electronic products and their components like so the batteries, then the integrated chips, so the chargers which are no longer in use, but are disposed of by the consumer.
So what are the elements of what are the components of e-waste?
So it includes metals like nickel, iron, cadmium, mercury, and there are some hard metals like lead also, which is there inside, which includes the e-waste.
What are the main sources of these wastes or these pollutants?
So the main sources are the consumer electronic devices like the watches, computers, and the laptops, which are disposed of, and that is the main source.
And what are the health implications of this? What are the consequences of e-waste?
So e-waste is harmful for the health for both human as well as the wildlife. So it leads to the emission of radioactive gases and radioactive substances into the atmosphere, which reaches humans through air or water. And
Radioactive, like which element is radioactive here? You said cadmium, iron, nickel, mercury.
sir, cobalt is one element, I think.
Okay. Cobalt, does it cause radioactivity problems?
Sir, I'm not sure whether cobalt causes it, but overall electronic waste releases gases which are radioactive in nature.
Okay. So what else? What else?
And so then the other impact of uh, the e-waste is that it pollutes soil as well as the water as the waste leaches underground.
Yeah.
So it
What type
pollutes
of
water as well as.
consequences? That pollution can cause what type of consequences? Do you know of any medical disorder because of e-wastes?
No, so I'm just aware of term like bioaccumulation, which
Okay,
causes.
fine. Fine. So, what are government policies? Do you know of any programs, any policies around e-waste?
Yes, so there is a government policy, that is the national policy. Government encourages circular economy by giving extended producer responsibility, where the producer is responsible for the safe disposal of electronic waste. And sir, also there is a thrust to recycle and the reuse of this policy. And sir, the government under the policy is encouraging recyclers and the scrappers, those who take the e-waste and then they reuse it or to refurbish it.
Do you really think poverty is one of the reasons for pollution? Are the poor bigger polluters than the rich people?
uh, Sir, I don't consider that that poor are more responsible. Sir, if we see the sources of the pollution and the big industries and the vehicular emissions, they are the major factors contributing towards pollution. But sir, since the poor are do not have the capabilities to transition to a more sustainable life, it is more with the richer strata of the society. But poor require hand holding by the government or by the availability of cheaper products so that they do not contribute to pollution.
Okay. So when we say that India is not as developed and that we have concerns of agriculture and energy, because of which we may not be able to meet some of the objectives under the global environmental solutions. Do you think it's fair on part of India to say so? Are you aware of India taking this position?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, India's position on the
Are you
historical
aware of this
emissions.
position of India?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Does India say this even now that we must be
Yes, sir.
given? Okay. So do you think
Yes, sir.
it's fair?
India.
Do you think it's fair on India to say so? When we have 1.4 billion population, we have a 3 trillion economy, we have aspirations for global leadership. Do you think this is a fair position for India?
Uh, yes, sir. I think the India's position is fair because it asks for a due time frame, which is required for smooth transition to a greener and a more sustainable economy. Sir, India uh, as the resources and as the technology allows, India is a leader in taking steps. Sir, its per capita emissions are also very low, and it is contributing as compared to other developed nations. It is contributing very high in terms of greener transition and greener development. So, sir, the asking for fair share because of the uh, historical factors where developed countries contributed more to today's pollution and the climate change. So India's stand is fair enough.
Okay. So, are you aware of some commitments from Indian side, which is far more ambitious of a society like India is? Some commitments from India that you think are very ambitious commitments on environment issues.
Yes, one such as the commitment by India under Panchamrit goals of net zero by 2070. So as we see India being a high population country, so this ambition, the entire ambition of transition to net zero by 2070 is in itself very ambitious.
Okay. So you are optimistic India can solve this and also be responsible there.
Yes, sir. India can and will do the
Have you heard about uh, very high pollutions in China, and then they managed to bring down the urban pollution dramatically? Very high
yes,
pollution
yes.
levels in cities like Seoul in Korea, and they also brought down the pollutions. So, what is it that they have done, which you think we have not been able to implement that in Indian urban pollution, like in Delhi? What did they do? Some model we can emulate. Are you aware of something there, Saloni?
Yes, sir. So China in particular had a comprehensive strategy to reduce air pollution, sir, particularly. So China is is creating codes and standard guidelines for the industries, for all the sectors of the economy to curb emissions, otherwise face fines and punishments. Sir, India cannot imitate that strategy because India is a democratic country and it has a has a very different approach in solving problems. Whereas sir, China is more authoritative in nature, and sir, the government imposed very high fines and very high restrictions to control air pollution, and hence the level of pollution came down. Sir, whereas in India, sir, it's a more free economy and quality, sir. So where the transition to clean air and to reduce pollution will take gradually and through democratic processes.
Are you aware of Britain sending back Rwanda refugees?
No, sir, not aware.
Are you aware of Britain's position vis-a-vis migration?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have an idea.
Tell me, what do you know about Britain's position?
Sir, Britain has a very calculated approach towards refugees, sir, where it doesn't want to have so many refugees, which disturbs the local economy and takes away and also harms Britain. So it may reject the incoming of refugees for the sake of its own benefits.
Okay. Do you read about American elections? Are you aware of something in American elections?
Yes, is something I'm aware, sir. Sir, not
So
very.
who do you think will be the nominee from the Republicans this time? What is your reading?
Sir, I think it would be Donald Trump again.
And
Who
from
can?
Democrats, will it be Biden or somebody else?
Sir, I'm not aware of this. So, like, not read much, so cannot say would be the
What is your
nominee.
chance? What do you think are chances of Donald Trump winning the elections?
Sir, American politics is such that where there's anti-establishment thought of in the population. So there is a as seen historically, sir, there is a shift from Democrats to Republicans in every other
No,
elections.
in
But I think
most last, I think, 2, 3 decades or 2 decades, invariably the same president has got re-elected. Okay, 2 terms for Reagan, 2 terms for Clinton, 2 terms for Obama. Okay, consistently we have got same uh, getting re-elected. So what do you say the anti-establishment?
sir, because so then that is after 2 terms that there is a term. So
Yes, so बीडन तो अभी एक ही term हुआ है.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Not very sure about that. Achha, by the way, if
No, not very
Donald
sure.
Trump comes to power, what does it mean to India? What do you think uh, India's position will be? Will it be good for India, not good for India? Some things will change. Some commentary on that?
Sir, if Donald Trump returns to power, sir, one area which is of interest to India will be sir China. Sir, Donald Trump has a more tougher stance against China as seen during his previous term. So, sir, in that
Mhm.
way, it could benefit India also. But, sir, then Donald Trump's era is more volatile and unpredictable. So, there India will have to take a uh, more alert. For a more alert stance and has to be proactive enough to ensure that the India's interests with US are maintained.
Have you heard about CAA?
So the Citizenship Amendment Act.
Yes, have you heard about what is
Yes, sir.
its latest status?
Sorry, sir, not aware of the latest data.
Not aware of the details. Okay, Saloni, thanks a lot. Nice talking to you. Anything you want to ask me before we wind up the discussion with you?
Sir, I currently don't have any.
Thank you, Saloni. Thank you so much. My wishes to you. All the best.